Welcome to Unlikely Lovers. Coming up, meet the 20-year-old aspiring glamour model who's going out with Dave, who at 51 is old enough to be her grandfather.
He doesn't even act his age. In fact...
Meet the couple who are connected cosmically even though they'd never met. Join the woman who's been unlucky in life, but that meant she met the love of her life. Meet the Liverpool lass who took a big chance and went to the Big Apple in the name of love.
I was really concerned about had I done the right thing. I hadn't booked a hotel. I just had kind of felt so good about this potential relationship that I was just going to stay at Chase's apartment.
And meet Asher, whose gaydar needs some serious attention.
Because he was like really working out in the gym and he was saying he was going to enter a competition. I thought, oh yeah, some bodybuilders gay, aren't they?
But first...
When I first met Anita, she worked in Midland County's ice cream. She was little, turned up nose, and she was so shy she wouldn't talk. But then I was a Welsh man, came right in the place and said, "Hiya, I'm not going to give you my old name."
Despite the 31-year age gap, 51-year-old Dave and 20-year-old Tony have been together for 3 years.
He doesn't even act his age. In fact...
You were 7 and she looked about 24. It's 3 years ago, isn't it?
And it still feels as though we've only just met yesterday.
I still don't know your name.
Tony boarded Dave's bus 3 years ago and they hit it off, arranging to meet for a healthy date at the gym.
You asked me, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't ask him out at all. I don't do things like that.
You said I'll meet
No.
you. You did. You said I'll meet you at the gym.
No.
And I didn't turn up.
We arranged to go to the gym together, but someone didn't show up. I don't know whether he was shy, whether he was nervous or...
Shy and nervous.
But Dave got over his nerves and the couple started meeting at the gym regularly as friends.
The gym was the place where we sort of cemented our friendship more than anything.
Yeah, because we shared the same hobbies.
You know, I thought because of the age gap that we wouldn't have any interests, the same sort of interests, and this is one thing that was holding me back. And then found out we had the same interests and likes and dislikes. One thing led to another. It was a natural progression.
Well, I felt comfortable with him from day one.
So I was living on my own, and
So-
Tony wasn't happy where she was. So
It just happened naturally, to be honest with you.
Although being together was easy for these unlikely lovers, friends and family were more of a problem.
We have made a lot of sacrifices, and that involves our family. Either they don't want to know us, or, we don't want to know them because they're not happy.
it's not a case that we don't want to know them. It's just that they've made the choice. We didn't make a conscious decision to give everybody up. They made the choice, not us. And if they want to be small-minded and bitter, let them. We aren't, are we?
We're not, because we're happy together, and no matter what happens, we won't let anyone get in the way with it.
That's it.
Although Tony has a career ambition that most men wouldn't be happy with their partner doing.
Ever since I was at a young age, I've always wanted to do modelling. I went on the Glamour websites and looked at all the girls that were on, and I thought, well, if they can do it, so can I.
It turns out she may be able to, as Tony has a test shoot with a leading glamour photographer and Dave's behind her all the way.
I love her to bits. And if she's got the chance to do what she wants to do, go ahead, and she'll have my support, without a doubt.
But will Dave be as supportive when reality hits home?
I said I'd never marry a Welshman because one of the foremen that I worked for, he was from South Wales, and I didn't like him. He was a very nasty man.
Note what she says. Young man. I'm a woman. O-W... How does it go? You know the song?
Suzanne, 40, and toy boy Paul, 31, aren't just unlikely lovers, they're psychic lovers.
Definitely feel that we've known each other before.
There's a high connection.
Be a bit spooky.
The two singletons have both been married before and decided to take an alternative route to find that special someone. And the unlikely route they took was slightly otherworldly, spooky.
I had picked up Spirit and Destiny, and this was the same magazine that Paul had been sent.
I took the magazine home and read it from cover to cover, and the thing that stood out to me was the dating agency, the Kismet article.
And I read the same article, and it just really spoke to me because I really wanted to meet somebody, and I didn't know how to do it.
But someone did know how to do it. Enter owner of the Kismet dating agency, psychic dating guru Terry.
Both applications arrived on the same day. It has to be noticeable, you know, it's a sign.
But there's quite a lot of work involved psychically finding perfect love matches.
First and foremost, it's meditation. Half an hour minimum, and tuning in to one of my guides. In the case of Suzanne and Paul, I chose Adana, my late daughter, to match up Paul and Suzanne. When I opened the envelope of Suzanne's application form, I felt, yes, as that. When the application forms go together, I feel power. I feel power in that. I put them together. The way I handle the forms is all important. You get the form here, you get the form there, and you ask and you say, yep. And then you go, shoop, forms go together. And then my granddad came through and said, yep, girlie, you got it right. And I felt happy. And then when I put the forms on my lap together, job finished. Have a cup of coffee. Yeah, that's it.
But that wasn't quite it, as Suzanne wasn't convinced. She thought their psychic connection had a bit of a loose connection.
There's been a mistake. Terry's obviously, got confused. She's been on an off day and you've accidentally been sent my details. You won't want me.
We were both only really teenagers when we got married, because we were both 20 at the time. So we've more or less grown together and bonded in that way. And I couldn't think of living the rest of my life without this person in my life.
40-year-old Mel first met her unlikely lover Mike 25 years ago, when she was just 15 and he was 38. But romance was the furthest thing from either of their minds. Mel had just been in a serious motorbike accident, and Mike was the surgeon sent to fix her.
My first meeting with Mel, of course, was in some pretty awful circumstances. I was asked to come in to the hospital and see a teenager who'd been thrown off the back of a motorbike and who'd injured her back. And it was pretty clear, firstly, to the ambulance crew that there was something serious going on. And my staff in the hospital had twigged that her back injury was serious.
So serious, in fact, that Mel had broken her back.
And he came into the room and he said, we've done the best that we can, but the fact is, you'll never walk again.
I had no idea at all that many years later we would become so close and that we would eventually get married.
And marry they did, but not before Mel had yet another serious road accident just 2 years later, when she was now 17.
After the initial injury, I think he thought he'd seen the back of me, pardon the pun, literally when he sent me off to the spinal unit. And I came out of there 5 months later, wheelchair bound and trying to get to terms with it. I went back to school, passed my driving test, got myself a car, was thrilled to bits. Was driving one day, car pulled out in front of me, crunch.
Mel had broken both her legs, her left ankle, and been thrown through the windscreen of her car. So she had yet another trip to hospital. And who do you think the surgeon on duty was? Yep, it was Mike.
And I remember Mike arriving, and I think there were words like, you know, what have you done now?
When I saw her, when she arrived in, I thought something disastrous must have happened to the back again. So I suppose it made a nice change how the legs go wrong.
A lot of people have asked me if I fancied Mike when I met him in the early stages, up until I was 18. Yeah, he was good looking, there's no doubt about it, but he was too awesome to sort of to think anything warmly about, because I could just see him, you know, he'd stride in and be very, very serious. But underneath it all, yeah, he was a lovely looking guy, but way too old for me.
Well, that was then, but Mel was only 17 and had plenty of time to change her mind.
I remember the first date that we had. We went to the pictures and we was watching the film and we just turned to one another and that was our first kiss.
20-year-old wannabe glamour model Tony and her 51-year-old lover are shopping for lingerie for her first shoot. And Dave isn't complaining. Well, not really.
I don't often come with her, you know. I hate shopping.
And just as well for Dave that Tony's friend Zoe has come along for the ride. So it takes the pressure off him in the retail therapy stakes.
No, there must be a reason for them. But what they are, I don't know. She comes and goes and does whatever she wants. She dresses the way she wants. She goes out when she wants. She comes in when she wants. That's not to say that I don't care or don't worry, because I do. But basically that's it. I don't care about other people anymore. I did used to. I don't anymore. I think we've learned to live, after 3 years now, we've learned to live with it and we get on with our own lives, basically. I mean, she's great and she's bubbly, she's nice, she's happy. So it's no big deal. It just comes normally and naturally, and when I see her, I just want to give her a hug and a kiss and a cuddle.
Right, what shall I wear with that?
What about this?
Yeah, I like that.
It's nice, isn't it?
When I've spoken to Tony about, you know, Dave's age, said she's attracted anyway to older guys, and she always has been.
I think you'd have to learn kung fu to wear that.
It's important to look nice for Dave, but I mean, I like doing things like this anyway. It makes me feel in charge.
It is important that Tony looks nice, but it's probably more important for Tony that Tony looks nice than for me, because I think she looks gorgeous all the time.
I'll try these on.
But the shopping trip isn't just to look nice for 51-year-old Dave. 20-year-old Tony is an aspiring glamour model, and she has her first shoot coming up. That said, Dave probably won't be complaining about his girl's sexy new gear.
That is superb.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah. Give it a twirl.
Ever since I was at a young age, I've always wanted to do modelling. When I was about 7, I just used to do little pauses in the mirrors now and again and just look at my reflections.
You still do?
But will Dave still be smiling on the day of the shoot?
I was told, I'm going to marry you. Never asked the question, will you marry me, just as I'm going to marry you. And a month later, we got engaged. And 6 months after getting engaged, we got married.
Preserving my butchness, you see. I am going to marry you.
Earlier, we met unlikely lovers Suzanne and Paul. Despite the fact that they have a 9-year age gap, they lived on opposite sides of the country and had never even met, it didn't stop Psychic Terry and her unique methods of romantically pairing couples through the cosmos from placing them as each other's perfect love match.
When I tuned in, I meditated, and Adana came through, and I had Suzanne's picture and application form, and I thought, Paul Green, nice-looking hairdresser.
Terry, she used her father as a spirit guide. He's passed over, and he would help her to connect people with their soulmates.
Bit of an age gap, I thought, but you know, Kismet goes beyond all this age, religion, you know, what do you do for a living? And it was quite easy.
Simple as that. But Suzanne wasn't too sure and wrote to Paul, her psychic love match, to say that the guides must have been misguided.
I wrote him a very short, polite letter back saying there's been a mistake. Terry's obviously, you know, got confused. She's been on an off day and you've accidentally been sent my details. I think you want somebody younger than you, and you want somebody thinner than me, and you want somebody more local. You won't want me.
I think it was the innocence of that I really bonded with, and I wanted to explore whether there was anything there, and I'm glad that I did.
And guess what? They were both glad as the psychic lovers got together and quickly became sexual lovers. Them guides were right after all.
When he kissed me and when he hugged me was the first time I'd felt like a human being. It was as if it freed me.
Me and Suzanne were together just out of pure love. And so it was very passionate and it was very powerful, the way that our energies connected with each other.
And when Paul brought me out into the sun, and when he hugged me and when he kissed me, it was like, he was clearly saying, I think you're wonderful. And when somebody says that to you, it really makes you feel wonderful. And I thought, well, if he thinks that I'm wonderful, maybe I'm wonderful.
It was like two people coming together and becoming one person almost.
It felt amazing.
And to actually embrace each other on a physical level was electrifying for me. It wasn't just going to be like an intellectual relationship, it was going to be a physical, passionate relationship.
There goes my shoe and you know, that kind of stuff. It was very sort of, I don't know, how can you put this? The couch saw a lot of action.
I was nervous because I thought that I didn't want to cross any boundaries or I didn't want to make any bad impressions. But in the same way, I was very passionate as well and I wanted to show Suzanne that.
We sort of dragged through to the bedroom and everything, and it was really nerve-wracking, but we both just gave it our all.
And we became very close quickly.
The third date, it was in September, and by that stage we had decided that we wanted to have a baby together. So we wanted to get married and we wanted to live together.
When the psychic love guides speak, you don't mess about. So Suzanne and Paul married less than a year after meeting and had a baby together.
Well, here we are today, married with a child, and we're doing what we want to do in a place that we want to be, surrounded by beauty, and it's having the courage, really, to take that step that makes everything possible. It puts you in the miracle zone.
It's job satisfaction with a wow. It really is. It's fabulous.
Jackie is a 43-year-old Scouser. Her unlikely lover is Chase, a 40-year-old native New Yorker.
All the way, pull, all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way, and cut!
The two first met back in November 2000, when Jackie spotted Chase's profile on an internet dating site.
She sent me a picture of her drunk and out on the town with two of her mates. So what happened was that it was her between two other women. So actually, I really didn't know which one was her. But then I said, either one, I don't care. That's good. That's worth calling back.
At the time, Chase was living in his native New York, while Jackie was home in Liverpool.
We emailed backwards and forwards for a while, and eventually we decided we'd like to talk on the phone. He found my accent particularly hard to understand, with being from Liverpool, being a Scouser, talking very fast.
She had this lilt to her voice, and that was automatic difference, and oh my God, it sounded so sexy. You know what I mean?
Less than 2 months later, Jackie decided to fly to the Big Apple and meet Chase face to face.
When I got off the plane, I was incredibly nervous. I was really concerned about had I done the right thing. I hadn't booked a hotel. I just had kind of felt so good about this potential relationship that I was just going to stay at Chase's apartment. And I started to suddenly kind of have a bit of panic about that, really.
I could see that her fingers were trembling. I took her by the hand, looked her in the eyes, and I kissed her. And you know, I was just as nervous as she was. I know that my heart was beating just nervously and everything, and it was all good from there. And I just think that we knew that we were honestly getting together, and it wasn't like, hey, you know?
You did try to do a bit of the hey though on me, didn't you?
Well, you know, I put on my Barry White voice. Had my hat slouched to the side, you know what I mean? I'm going, yeah, baby, what's up?
But the hey-hays certainly worked. The only trouble was Jackie was in town for just 1 week, and Chase was thrown into a panic.
I was typing this letter to my friends. What do you think I should do, man? She's leaving. I don't know. I'm like, she's going to be gone, and I'm never going to see her again, and of course I'm going to go visit, but I didn't, you know, maybe I should just propose right now.
I used to sing to Anita too. We just been reminded of it, because I've heard the words recently. Have I told you lately that I love you? Can I tell you? I'm the only Welsh person that cannot sing, you know.
38-year-old Greg is 14 inches taller and 12 years younger than his unlikely lover, Asher. And believe it or not, when Asher first met Greg, it was his sexuality that she had reservations about.
I thought he was gay. I thought all bodybuilders, because he was like really working out in the gym, and he was saying he was going to enter a competition, this, that and the other, and I thought, oh yeah, all bodybuilders are gay, aren't they? He was quite sort of pleasant. He used to bring me a bunch of freesias. Which sounds really crazy, because when you see Greg and the size of him and you're walking down the road with a bunch of freesias, he looked really funny.
You can see why people cry.
But while 5-foot Asher was charmed by her gentle giant, 6'2", 20-stone Greg doesn't always get such a warm reception.
A lot of people used to cross the roads rather than walk past me. However, looking back now, I suppose it must have been a big thing, more so for Ash, because we were so totally opposite. There's me 6'2", Ash is 5 foot. I take a size 12 shoe, she takes a size 2. You know, just totally opposites. I never really felt people were looking.
I was quite conscious of people looking at us everywhere we went. I remember we went to Brighton, just walking along the pier and everything, and people just kept looking, and sort of, I felt really uncomfortable. I felt I couldn't walk next to him because he was just so huge at that time, and I used to think, well, why do people keep looking at us? Well, you know, do we look strange? But we must have looked really strange because I'm quite little and he's quite large, little and large. That's quite funny.
But size and age aside, the unlikely lovers have found some people focus on another difference.
If you're watching in black and white, my wife's skin is brown, mine's white. Yeah.
I'm Hindu. I'm not practicing, but I was brought up to be in the Hindu religion. And Greg not being Hindu, it was easier for us to just go to a registry office, get married, and just have maybe a reception for us, just family and friends. I hadn't met any of his family, so I had to go up north to meet his mother and his sister, and that was a bit daunting because I suppose they didn't know what to expect from me and I didn't know what to expect from them. And when we went there back in the summer, the mother told me they were expecting this little Indian girl with a sari and a red dot on her head, and I thought, well, like, get real.
So size, age and religious differences aside, there is one last unlikely feature about these lovers. Asher works nights at a casino and Greg works days as a tattooist. So as the couple spend the weekdays hardly seeing each other, the question comes up, do they actually have anything in common?
When two people come together, and I often find myself saying this to Ash, Ash says to me, you know, what do we have in common? I said, the less the better, really. Because if we've got too many things in common, we're both going to end up being a pair of anoraks. You know what I mean? Walking out in the same colour shoes and raincoats and, you know, who wants that?
Earlier we met 40-year-old Mel, who's quite possibly the unluckiest woman in Wales.
I was 15 and I'd broken my back and told I'd never walk again. Then I'd broken my legs, and then I found out that I had a neurological disorder that could now make me quadriplegic. And then 10 years after that I was told that I had breast cancer, a grade 5 tumour, and that my chances are pretty slim unless I went through the gruelling course of radiotherapy and chemotherapy. Hello there, hi, it's Melanie Davis from Tree Trust.
Mel's luck, however, turned in 2001 when her dashing surgeon Mike started working for the charity she set up to fund the building of a rehabilitation and exercise centre.
I think over the years, the fact that Mel would be inclined to find a way around almost any difficulty has formed an enormous attraction, initially in the very rarefied atmosphere of a doctor-patient relationship. It's the sort of thing that engenders a huge amount of admiration.
Mike's wife had tragically died a few months before, and the last thing on his mind was another relationship. But over the next 2 years, the doctor and his patient became closer and closer and closer.
In the end, I just felt that he'd just grown part of me, strangely, and it was very, very peculiar that when he wasn't around, and that feeling struck me quite hard.
But in true Mel fashion, it took yet another accident before the romance blossomed.
I think I'd just about climbed into bed for the night, and there was a phone call from Mel's father saying she pitched out of the wheelchair in the kitchen, and there was something radically wrong with the with a leg.
I thought I'd really done it this time.
And it was while she was in the hospital there that it suddenly came home to me that I wasn't just sorry for somebody who'd had an accident, but I was really quite markedly concerned about somebody who meant a great deal to me.
And he held my hand through it all, literally, and then after hours and hours and hours, eventually got me into a hospital bed, and he gave me a kiss before he went home, and that was it. I thought things have definitely shifted here, the goalposts have shifted quite substantially. And then I thought nothing of it again. I sort of thought, no, maybe I'm imagining things. And then came back the following day and gave me another kiss, and I thought, well, that's all right.
So after what you might call a patient wait, Mel finally got her man. And she wasted no time in hanging on to him.
And people have always thought us to be unlikely couples because she's quiet and I've been outspoken. Unlikely, understand?
Liverpool lass Jackie flew 4,000 miles to spend 1 week with Chase, a native New Yorker who she'd met on the net just 2 months before. Not one to be outdone, on Jackie's last night, Chase decided to propose by writing an email to his mates.
He started to read out this email that he'd sent to all his family, to all his friends, and the very end section of the email was about him making a decision to propose to me. And, he kind of got to that end bit and then said, "Jackie Johnston, will you marry me?" And I just immediately said yes. We'd crammed so much in during that time that what we'd done was really kind of got to know each other on such a deep level in such a short time. Most couples, I guess, wouldn't do that.
And most couples, I guess, wouldn't get married 4.5 months later, but that's exactly what Jackie and Chase did.
If I look at it objectively now, I kind of look back and go, oh my God, what did I do? But with Chase, there was just something incredibly magical. He really lit a spark in me that I hadn't had for such a long, long time. I took a leap of faith just kind of going out to meet him, and he took an even more massive leap of faith in kind of coming to live here in this country.
Chase swapped the Brooklyn Bridge for the Mersey Tunnel and moved lock, stock and barrel to Liverpool.
I know my way around better than Jackie does, actually. Every so often she's like, I can't believe I don't even know that. See, that's also another thing too. What I love about Liverpool is that it's such a small town. that I'm constantly going, hey, I know him, I know her. And Jackie goes, oh, okay.
Jackie and Chase are about to celebrate their 4th wedding anniversary, and they still live in Liverpool along with their 2-year-old son, Jackson.
Jackson was born in September 2003, and he's an absolute miracle child because all the doctors that we saw said that it was impossible for Chase and I to conceive unless we had fertility treatment. And even if we had fertility treatment, the diagnosis that they'd given me, they'd said, meant that I probably couldn't even carry a child to full term.
Oh, nice one.
To an unlikely pair of misfits. Many more years to come.
To the first 4 years, to the last 4 years, to the many years in between.
Oh.
Ah, see?
Cheers, love.
It's the day of 20-year-old Tony's first ever Glamour shoot. And Dave, boyfriend of 3 years, and who is 31 years her senior, has come along to support her.
I know how important it is to her to do this. Give her the chance, so this is a one chance, it's a one-off. So I'm going to give her my 110%, aren't I?
Had you ever been out with someone else before, or is this your first?
No.
Was it different?
It doesn't feel different because, I mean, he looks after me, takes care of me.
Do you live with him?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he treats me the way I want to be treated.
Have you had boyfriends before or not? Or
Yeah. But it wasn't serious, and I wasn't ready to settle down with any of them. I think the reason being was because they came across like too immature. I like older men because they know how to treat a woman. Wouldn't you agree?
No. Close your eyes.
It's important to have Dave's support because I don't speak to my family, and the only family I have is Dave. He encourages me, which is fantastic, and he gives me 100%, and it makes me feel more confident and more determined in doing what I'm doing now. He's prepared to support me all the way.
I don't think I'd be jealous at all. I'd be proud, I think. I'm proud. Look at this. Hey, there's my lady. No, there's my lady. She's in the paper. I'll be showing it to people.
Well, there's not been any jealousy in the past 3 years that we've been together. I mean, I can't see any jealousy occurring when I get there. Not if I get there, when I get there.
Right, well, it's time to see. Tony could well be the next Jordan, which would make Dave Peter Andre, wouldn't it? Well, kind of.
She did the very basics very simply, and she did it well. She's a nice kid, and just hope she gets the break.
Fingers crossed, I'll become a successful glamour model.
Maybe when I get home tonight, I'll get a private showing.
And after the private showing, maybe Dave will change his mind about his girlfriend taking to the limelight.
Well, I think you would like to be a bear if you had to be an animal.
That's so masculine, that.
Mel and Mike first met in hospital in 1980, when Mel was a teenage patient and Mike was the dashing doctor. But it took 24 years before this doctor and patient could play doctor and nurses.
I knew I was in love with him and that we'd gotten together and we'd opened our hearts to one another, and I thought that the most natural thing in the world was for us to spend the rest of our lives together.
Mike and Mel finally got married in October 2004, and any worries about the 23-year age gap soon disappeared. Just take it from her mother.
Well, what I think I've always said is when children are young, a few years age difference is very, very noticeable, but as they get older, the age gap closes. I don't know whether you noticed that. And But we just didn't think about it really, did we? Because we're old ourselves as well.
I look at him sometimes and I think, oh, good God, that was the man that operated on me twice. And I still find it incredible today.
Mike is now selling up the home he once shared with his first wife and children and is now looking forward to a life together with Mel.
A lot of people would assume that, you know, we're fit together, Mike and I, well, because of my situation and the way we met, but really, we just, there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, we have great fun.
I did wonder what she could possibly be doing with somebody who was so much older. I was aware of the fact that there were 23 years between us, that in fact she's not a great deal older than my daughter.
We think the same way, we like the same things, we enjoy doing the same things. And the only way I can describe it really is to say that we fit. And we fit rather perfectly. This is a gorgeous house, but as you can see, it's not exactly wheelchair friendly. It's a beautiful house and it's going to be terribly sad to see it go. But the first thing that is obvious is the loo there, and there are 3 steps down into it. So that's not practical unless I take a flying leap. Mike's had 25 happy years here and he's prepared to give all this up and look for a property that's really essentially suitable for my needs. And that is a huge step and a huge commitment to make to me. And it makes me feel really humble, actually.
The house has been allowed to sit and the life very largely has gone out of it in many ways. But it needs somebody else. I don't need to be in it. And I think the challenge of making a home with Mel somewhere, in a place that we can really call our own, rather than this which was my own and my history's own, I think that's an exciting move.
She'll often go and call me and she'll say, "Oi, you haven't done this, or you haven't pulled the chain, or haven't pulled the curtains up in the shower, you know, because it gets mouldy at the bottom." And she's got all sorts of peculiarities, and I've got to put up with that.
Unlikely lovers Tony, 20, and Dave, 51, are back home from the Glamour shoot, and the realities are sinking in.
It's a hard world out there, especially in the modelling industry, and you just have to learn to stick up for yourself. No matter what, I won't give up. I'll carry on trying until I get where I want to get.
He may be 31 years her senior, but Tony knows no matter what, she's got Dave through thick and thin.
I can't say that I don't ever give it a thought, but sometimes it's like, what's going to happen to Tony in, say, 20 years' time when, you know, she'll still only be 40. And that sort of thing does play on my mind. It's just another part of life, isn't it?
I love Dave to bits, without a doubt, and I'll just carry on showing my love and affection, you know.
Can't ask for anything more, can I?
Until whenever.
Until my wheelchair and my nappies.
Well, just about.
Besides the age gap thing, I mean, there's an awful lot of people frown on it. The Asian English type thing. It's mainly my friends, really, wasn't it? Or ex-friends.
Yeah, well, his so-called friends, anyway.
But what actually has happened is we've just found a new circle of friends.
I've not felt so close to anyone as I have to Dave. He's a gentleman, he's caring, considerate, affectionate. Just everything I've always wanted in a man.
I am a lucky man. I think I'm a very lucky man. I mean, she's so beautiful. I just love her. I love the way she walks, she dresses. She's got class.
happy together, and no matter what happens, we won't let anyone get in the way with it.
That's it.
She ought to have a medal for staying with me. Not just because of my transsexuality, but because of everything else I have put her through in life.
Would you like the Queen to put a medal on you? Yeah, I think
that would be nice, yeah.
Yeah, okay. A Lady Anita Parry.